All right, welcome back, everyone. We have a new face with us. You want to introduce
Oh,
yourself?
hi. My name is
hi.
Alexander. Nice to meet you guys. I happen to be in the middle. Hi.
A new old face, yeah. For the people who haven't actually watched, I hope no one hasn't watched our streams before, but what do you do?
I am a gameplay designer at Funcom for, this will be now the year 17.
Damn.
So it's been a hot second.
Yes.
It's been great fun.
We say you're by far, like by now you're like part of the inventory, like
Inventory?
furniture, your
Oof.
furniture,
Oof.
yes, furniture. All right, so this segment is about combat and our scalable new dungeons ecolabs, which is very exciting. So for one, first, we actually do have new weapons
We're going to do that first?
the game. Yes.
Yeah, let's do that.
We also have some cool clips we can show while you talk about that. Potentially, there you go.
There we go. Clips. Right. So first things first. There's 3 of them. This is the first one. This is our first range addition to the game. This is along the same lines of a flame-based weapon, but instead of being a direct fire flame-based weapon, this is a parabolic. Has a bit of travel time, has a bit of skill ceiling. Players can lob these wonderful balls of fire at their foes. Ideally, you know where your baddies are. You can use spice prescience to expose them, either from behind cover or you've seen them go into cover. And then you proceed to lob the balls of fire near the cover, around it, to force them to go out. Fire goes through shields, applies burning dots, forcing players to act, or NPCs to act. And we can see on screen here, deploying it in relatively nice fashion.
Can I just say, I love the splash effect of that fireball. It looks
great.
so good.
Yeah. I had a wonderful experience with Joel arguing about the naming convention of this thing. I think he ran away to fight the drop bears in Australia after our conversations, but he chose a good, like we have a funny internal name. He chose a great player-facing name.
I have issues remembering it. Pie rocket. Pie rockets, yes.
It's a great name.
Pyro rockets. So it's just like, but I can't remember the name, like for the life of me. Horrible. All right.
Here is another edition. So that was the range edition. This is the first of the 2 melee editions. Here we see our characters equipping a dual dagger weapon. Right now in the game, we have 2 classes of melee weapons that players have available to them on live, which are the dagger animation set and the sword animation set. And here is the first dual weapon, dual dagger animation set. In terms of playstyle, we want to do something different because we have a baseline already. We want it to be a little bit special, a little bit nuanced, a little bit for the connoisseurs to try to explore the amount of depth we have in the system. So these 2 dual daggers really incentivize aggression, focus, and commitment. They are not a great, compared to the sword, AoE weapon, while they're quite tasteful as a single target anti-shield weapon. This clip here doesn't do justice to them truly. I think the players that are playing our internal playtest right now will have a fantastic time with them. Once a character gets up to speed, like we'll see the jumping sequences there, they will be able to quickly and in chain deploy multiple attacks that penetrate character's shield. As a function of that, they require some commitment, which means you're opening yourself to threats from other characters, which is why they're not a great area of attack weapon, but it allows you to deliver multiple slow
Really
blades
fast.
that penetrate the shields within one window, especially within one window of second wind weakness. So if you outplay your opponent, you blow out their stamina with abilities or your melee attacks, expose them to a second wind window of vulnerability, and you proceed to follow through, massive damage.
So fast, slow blades.
Yes.
Basically.
Yes. Yes.
Very
A bit
cool.
risky, a little bit of commitment with a little bit of planning, finesse, and you'll get what you want, which is big numbers.
We also see the little clip here, which we're going to talk about it actually in our next section. We're going to talk about story a little bit because those 2 knives are coming from, or these dual.
They come a little bit
coming
late.
from a specific,
Yes, they come a little bit late in the overall progression for stories, but players will get them and they'll have a play with them. So here is the second of the 2 melee editions. Technically speaking, rapiers have been in the game for a while now. They were there at launch, but they mechanically function as extended range daggers. For us internally, we always felt that we could do better. It was just a case of resource allocation. So here we had the resources and we chose to have something with a little bit more depth and nuance. So I like to use the following term to describe the rapier. It's a offensive defensive weapon. while that may sound a little bit awkward, by this I mean every attack, not every attack, the opening attack of the rapier, as you can see here, the half circle is technically a parry window. If you time it correctly, you are offensively parrying your opponent. And as well, we can see there's a backstep. So you do not have a block function, but your left click is a parry forward and attack, and your right click is a parry backwards attack. So you choose your distance, you choose your pacing, and you step in and out of range, trying to catch your opponent off guard. And again, like the daggers, to create some nuance and variety, this is not an area of an attack weapon. This is a focused dueling weapon where players try to bait each other out to see who fails the skill checks before they proceed to deliver slow blades.
I love how it feels like a dance almost.
It's very
here.
different.
And
It
like,
is so different once you're playing game.
Very rhythm based as well in a sense.
I just want to mention, like, the skill. I feel that the skill level for required for the rapier is higher. So I can't claim to master it. My favorite is the dual blade. To me, it's much easier to use. I will mention though that we've also equipped NPCs with rapiers, and we found out that was quite hard. So I had to give the direction that, like, let's try not to have more than one rapier in solo content because they're quite aggressive with them.
Which is interesting to say in solo content. We actually get back to that.
Oh, that's a very interesting word, right?
Yes. So, but there have also been changes to stamina.
Right. So this is an interesting this is an interesting discussion because I'm not sure the best way to take this at. So I'll take it from the player's point of view, right? So the experience for most people is that they feel like their actions do not have weight and value when they deliver them to a target, both in PvE and PvP. That message was received multiple times in our feedback sessions from players, and we've been working through to try to create an interesting experience where everyone is rewarded for the price that they pay for an action and for misplay against an action. So we had a feature that we deployed in patch 1.2 where internally we called it Ghost Dash. I think we have silver ghosts and golden ghosts already in the game now. One of the things that didn't come aligned with this was the appropriate pricing and triggering of this effect for the corresponding state that you meant to exit it with. Said another way, we want players to pay a higher price for dashing out of abilities, which is when you dash, you've been knee charged, and you choose to dash. Okay, that's great, but you pay a high price. You pay a gold price. However, if you had received a stagger from a melee weapon, doesn't matter which melee weapon, and you choose to dash out of it, you only pay a silver price, a medium price. And on the low end of the scale, movement is just cool. Moving around is cool, predicting is cool, evading is cool. It feels great, it looks great, let me feel great, fantastic. The normal dash, when you're not paying anything to get away from something, it's a little bit cheaper. So it's a little bit more easy to use, you feel great when you do it, and you can position yourself to deliver more gameplay effects. The end result of our goal, and this is obviously still in balancing, it's been in our internal NDA playtests, players are going through it, we need to find the right actual numbers. The direction for this is that we want players to commit, to succeed or fail, and then pay the appropriate price for their choice.
Yeah.
The actual price, is it going to be 80 stamina? Is it going to be 70 stamina? Is it going to be 50 stamina? We'll figure out in playtesting.
All right.
If you dash away from an ability, it should be expensive. From a stagger, medium. And just normal traversal, cheapest.
Yeah. So we will have to test all of this. It's like
This is not just for players, this is for
course.
also NPCs that we'll see our players experience in a minute.
Yeah, exactly. Now, there's also changes to respeccing, how respeccing works.
So one of the other points of feedback that we really wanted to get on top of is that the initial implementation we had for the respec system was relatively brute force hammer solution where you had a static cooldown window that you had to wait before you could try another playstyle. We have some pretty big commitment windows for amount of progression, and we honestly just decided, we should just let players do more interesting things. Let them try different playstyles, let them experience different things. Let them just respec a little bit more often. So instead of having a static window, you pay an increasing amount of spice cost to respec more often. And you can just respec more often, but the price goes up.
Sounds good, I think, at least to me. We'll see how...
Completely narratively correct.
Yeah, but also like how we get feedback on it and things. We'll adjust accordingly if we see that something needs to be adjusted. So now we talked already also previously about faction ranks, about the repeatable missions, the PvE content there, and specializations specifically. Now we also have you actually mentioned it, we mentioned it briefly earlier, have not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but 5 new dungeons and ecolabs in the game, which is super exciting.
Indeed.
So we can actually jump into some gameplay as well while we talk about these particular dungeons and how they tie into the system of further progression and specialization and all that. And
yeah, so you can get Landsrod missions to do these as well, but like whereas the Landsrod missions are focused on your own power, like increasing your skills with the specializations, this will tie closely into the power of your gear basically. So you're going to have to be running these a few times so that you get the things to craft for the augments and things like that. And even if you, let's say you get schematics that you don't care for, you can actually recycle those and turn them into.
I think we have to take a step back because we haven't actually explained what augments are,
okay.
right? So because maybe we can start with that,
sure.
because
So start with augments.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. So augments are things that are abilities in a way that you slot into your weapons. So you can see here these are level 1 augments. You see that on the circle. It has just one pip on it. They go up to level 5 basically. And then for each weapon, for instance, you start by the lowest ones you have. You can only place 1 in, but then you can place up to 5 into them at the most, basically. So you can really that's how you change the personality of your weapon if you want to, or you can just have damage numbers increase and things like that.
We can go a bit more into that later. I just wanted to take that a bit earlier since we were talking about it already. But now let's talk about the dungeons and how those are actually important also when it comes to these augments and why these dungeons are interesting.
Yes, you will get things here that you will need in order to craft to craft your weapons, use your weapon schematics and your augment schematics that you have to learn, and then you can craft these augments. And you can put them into the suitable type, whether that be armor or different weapon types and things like that. And even schematics that you don't care for, like I mentioned, you can actually recycle those, turn them into fragments that are then to be used in your crafting. So it's not a waste, even if you got something that you didn't need specifically.
So now what we see here, maybe I'm not sure who of you wants to comment on what exactly we see here. Like before you go into a dungeon, you have
I can start.
Scaling. Yes.
Basically, so we have now dungeon scaling so that you can challenge yourself. You can start at 1, which will be easy, go all the way. Well, quite a long way basically on the challenge levels, and depending on the challenge level that you pick. It will of course increase the challenge the higher you go, but the benefits and what you get for doing the higher challenge level are of course beneficial. And I don't think it's in this build, but we've actually today, at least me for the first time, played dungeons with a new system that's quite exciting, which is not only do we scale the obvious things like hit points and damage output of enemies, but also depending on how many players you are going into the dungeon, we also scale the number of enemies. This means that as a solo player, you will get a solo experience. A group of 4 will get a 4-group experience. But you can also play with 2 and 3, and the numbers and everything else will be scaled towards that. And also the difficulty of the challenges will be dependent on where you set the bar, basically.
And we also just saw when Camille put it all the way back, you actually get denied. Sometimes you can't actually set it to that difficulty level because you need to beat the previous one first to be able to go through.
Yeah, this is correct. So you start at, I think you can go up to 5 in the beginning in how we have it now, and then you have to start increasing the challenge. Now, interestingly, You might be able to pull off a level 5 challenge without having upgraded your gear or anything like that, but it will get challenging real quick because we expect after that to actually have gear that is augmented as you go through.
Yeah. You see here the modifiers as well for the different difficult scaling and ranking. Plus, of course, you see what you actually get, like drop rates for specific thing. Where, of course, the augmentation come into play again that you already talked about a little bit. We see that on the side. But yeah, let's, I think we're just going to jump in and see what those look like. We have a team of 4 here.
And before we jump into it, I would like to show off the personal light that we worked on. As you can see here, Camille on the left side there, he has a personal light with him. Obviously, it's more helpful in dark environments, but it actually follows where he looks quite effectively. It's a much needed improvement for what was the personal light, basically.
Yes, it's a complete rework of your personal light. It looks really cool too, like your little floaty body there.
And as we can see here, we're going into a poison dungeon. Someone said it would be a good idea to have a static compactor with you. I don't know why, but you know, there might be a good reason for it. And all these dungeons, they have five different themes. So each of the 5 new dungeons have a different theme. This one is poison, but we also have electricity, we have darkness, we have fire, and we have radiation, and they play quite differently. And obviously, the bosses are different, and the bosses tie into the theme of the dungeon.
The main vibe of they're very different. Yeah.
Yeah, and going to a poison dungeon, it would be a good idea to actually have skills that mitigate poison damage. Going into the radiation dungeon, good idea to bring a radiation suit. Electricity, I don't think we really have mitigation, but don't get hit by the blasts.
I think don't get hit is generally a good thing for like dungeons and electricity specifically. But yeah, but we see that our team is making its way here, making their way. So also we have those doors, of course, that we can talk about as well.
We have, at least internally, and I've called them the blood doors, basically, where and this is live already. We've done some tweaks to them, and there are still a couple more tweaks coming, actually. But they spawn enemies at intervals, basically, to provide challenge.
You also see here that there are specific traps as well that players have to be careful about, environmental hazards and things like that, of course. I actually like how organic this dungeon looks. I think it's very like, I'm going to say Last of Us, but like very organic and poisony, and I really like what they did with the dungeon. Yeah, so you do have to clear those rooms, of course, the blood rooms, like we had in some of the earlier eco labs as well, the T6 ones. Is anyone using dual blades?
Yeah, and Camille, I saw him use dual blades.
Yeah.
Dual blades work really well if you manage to stagger an enemy for a while and just keep going, because your speed of attack accelerates, and they all do damage through the shields, basically. So it's quite effective one-on-one at least.
I'm using great guards on him. I don't remember which difficulty was it difficulty 5 that went in here with? Oh yeah, we can, exactly, difficulty 4. Yeah, exactly, of course, yeah.
That's actually reasonably hard, can be.
Well, they can handle it. The team can do this. They probably could have gone to difficulty 5. They have a good mix of different playstyles here too.
Yeah. There's some need charging going on.
Just healing up a little bit, make sure we're ready for...
And we've done some updates to the signaling of the waves, basically, because sometimes you might feel that, oh, did the encounter actually end, or is it bugged? And then we have actually some signaling we start with blinking lights to show, hey, this is a good time to reload, to get your buffs on, things like that. And then an audio signal that actually signals, well, now it's on. And it's simple mechanics, but they they are quite useful.
Now we actually saw some loot there, also from a chest. Yeah, I'm assuming chat is actually able to hear those audio cues. We can't, of course.
Yeah.
No, of course, just we can't because we can't hear the game sound right now. All right.
Yeah. So Mary Ban is doing well.
Yeah, you see, they're basically destroying those poisonous pods first, so they don't get, or they're trying to anyway, so it doesn't. They just explode in the worst kind of time when they're already engaged with like additional ads, which is a good idea to just get rid of them early on.
I might mention one change that we're doing basically, because when you go into here, it's quite easy to get poisoned. When you go DBNO and then you revive, currently the effect stays with you, which is quite annoying. So we're actually clearing all the debuffs that you have on you when you revive from DBNO.
Okay, another quality of life change here, basically. You see also the pyrocket being used. The pyrocket doesn't have friendly fire, but you have to be careful not to damage yourself. And it's just really nice to, if someone goes into cover, just to get those NPCs out, or like area denial, as you mentioned as well earlier.
Right, here we have a dual blade. Oh. I'd like to use the burrow darts.
I was thinking the same. Someone is.
You can of course
Very
see your friends' personal lives as well, which, talking about optimizations and everything, isn't always the case, but you at least see the lights from everyone, which is quite handy if you go to the Darkness Dungeon, for instance.
We have an asset afterwards where we show a little bit what the other dungeons look like as well. But of course we want to make our way here to the final chamber to also talk about something that's new and that we've put into the game as a foundation to build upon as well for future updates.
Yeah, so we've done a lot of UI work actually when it comes to the bosses. And we've been quite conservative with some new elements in the past, but we're going all in on these unique bosses.
We should take it already a little bit ahead. So we do actually have now unique boss fights in the game, like a first version of it that we're going to build upon. But it's definitely something that I'm very excited about specifically. So once our team here is getting rid of those lost ads. Doing their best. They're doing really well, though.
They're doing well.
They're doing really well. Because those dungeons are not easy, especially if you crank up the difficulty as well. Like I said, though, like, I mean, there is kind of a limit where you won't get rewards anymore, right? But you can actually crank up. There's no limit to how difficult you want them to be. You can actually go to difficulty 100. So I feel like guilds and groups of players will challenge each other in like who is the first one who can get and prove that they finished the dungeon on difficulty 100, for example, right? So I think that's, at least for me, because I like speedrunning, I like, you know, first world raids, encounters and things like that. So you can actually do that here too. It's like, who's the first one to beat difficulty 100? Also, that'd be fun to watch too, I think. That'd be super exciting to watch.
One of the things that was on the difficulty to select screen was the current highest level of difficulty they've completed this specific dungeon on, but also, like you said, for time running, the amount of time that it took you to do it on. For example,
but that's only for yourself and for
you. It is
your,
only for yourself, yes. It is
for
a
now.
personal score for now. We need to see where we expand with it to make it a more prestige system for everybody to see instead of having to share screenshots. I believe our players are just about wrapped up with this space. They're just looting, scooting, and
Making
exploring.
sure, gotta make sure you don't miss, exactly.
Nothing gets left behind.
Don't miss
There are some
any
cases
goodies
where
here.
you want ammo, some cases where you want med packs, sometimes where you have to clean poison, otherwise things start to take a little bit too hard, and players, well, if you run out of health packs, you start to panic. Cooperative mining at its best. Everyone gets a door hinge.
Right,
Nice,
sure
in.
More loot boxes. So we do see a few new items here that are of course used then for what we're showing afterwards.
Oh, some NPCs, some more clearing. There we go.
The last hurrah before the big bang.
Oh yeah. The calm before the storm.
Yeah.
You just saw Camille take care of someone with a dual blaze, and you saw that he just kept going. It looked easy there, but he was also alone. It becomes, of course, more challenging when there are more enemies attacking you. But I love the dual blaze. I think
Yeah, be careful not to be overwhelmed by it. All right.
And I think we're approaching the destination. So if you can see here, this is obviously a good place to reload, have some spice beer, get ready to use your prescience, and take on the boss.
As a god of your team. I don't know how many times I, in other games as well, run into the boss fight and others were locked out by mistake.
There we go. There's our boss.
Alrighty. And so yeah, we do, that's what you mentioned earlier, that we have done user interface work as well, specifically for the boss fight.
So we indicate the faces of the on the bar there. You also see right now it's blinking. This means that the boss currently is not taking damage. There is more work to be done, so we're having another go at that to make it exceptional, to make it completely clear. I just wanted to mention it so people are aware. It's almost unfair, 4 against 1 here.
Was it rooting for the boss? I mean, our team is also very experienced, so it's still like...
Yeah. No, he has a few tricks up his sleeve as well, so...
Up his tight suit. Sorry, are you okay?
Oh yes,
Right.
that's what I need.
Just doing something.
Identify yourself.
Oh, that's a one.
You brought in some friends. So we are in the final stages or well, in the last stages to finalize this, but there's still balancing work to be done. Some kinks to iron out here and there. But overall, it's been very good progress on these bosses, I think.
He's also deploying like little additional poison things now, seeds now on the floor
Yeah.
that we need to keep, to make sure to keep those in check.
Incoming!
It's interesting when I played, at least I find myself constantly, in general, switching between melee and ranged. But I find that for some reason when I go against the bosses, I generally start playing as a melee fighter.
Interesting. Why is that, do you think?
I mean, yeah, I'm not sure actually. I haven't thought much about it. I just had that realization actually. No, because I saw that the most of the players here were actually using melee.
Yes. I mean, Camille here is using a little bit of a hybrid between ranged and melee, of course. But,
Alright, so we've gotten him down to half health now.
Yeah, he spawned way more of these poison things.
Yeah.
now.
So these poison things
Just like
are it's good
activating
in
them
the
again.
group to actually have someone be on static compactor duty, take care of those, so that the rest of the team can focus on the boss himself.
Some good damage in there.
Feeling gassed, are we?
Do you need some water?
No, I'm good.
Are you good?
Coffee, but yes, I apologize.
No, that I have some water here if you want.
No.
So yeah, so this is then challenge level 4, which is still geared to, or yeah, balanced towards not using augments, and you can crank it up to 100. So people will likely find their limit at some point.
So this is a more straightforward fight right now. While once you go into a tier where you do need augments, they're gonna get
Yeah.
spicier without not meaning to be that jokey here. No, not that jokey. Bad joke.
Not if it's never a bad joke.
So you can really take out a few of these
Yeah, he's
poison pods
focusing
here.
on taking out the poison bulbs here to make sure that it doesn't come and bite them in the butt, like literally. Well, not literally, but add to the challenge of the overall poison that's coming in as well.
Yes! Charge me up.
They make it look very easy because they kind of know how it works as well. And oh, okay.
Yeah, they probably practice a bit.
Now he gets.
So a good time to use pressure.
Yes, probably a good time.
Alright, he's on the last pip there.
Breathe deep and die.
Reminds me also a bit of Alien with the eggs. The eggs in the, like, you know, in the mist thingy.
Yeah.
Not to cross IPs here.
Seek cover.
Alright, so getting close.
I keep wondering, like, what is the story behind the suit that he's wearing? That's what I want to know now. I need to check with the narrative team what exactly the reason for this is.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure there is some kind of reason because there's always like. All right.
I think in the past we had some issues with not really knowing which was the boss, and suddenly you killed the boss. But I
Oh
think
God.
at
Okay,
least
that's yeah.
at least that confusion should be cleared away through this.
Yeah, absolutely, definitely. All right.
And then let's get the loot.
Our
Here we go.
big chest.
New unique.
Some augments as well.
Yep.
The ancient way, which is not only available in the deep desert now, you can also get it in other boxes.
So these are schematics,
Yeah.
augment schematics that you're able to get here.
Exactly, and then
that
you have
you
to
then-
exactly, you have to learn them just like you do any schematic, and then they have charges, and then you can once you have the components and everything, you can of course build them and
Exactly.
slot them into your weapon.
We're actually going to look at that afterwards because Camille is going to go back to the base now and we'll look at how that works with the augmentations, crafting and everything. Well done, team. Thank you
Well
very
done.
much.
Thank you.
While he goes back to his base and gets ready for showing us other things, we can actually look at some of the other ecolabs, what they look like, some of the other kind of what the vibe is with these particular ecolabs.
Maybe you want to take this one,
Sure,
Alex?
absolutely. I apologize. I had to control that coughing. That
No,
was
don't
wildly
worry
effective.
about it. I just didn't want you to die
Sorry,
here live on
people.
stream if
Yes.
possible.
So on screen, we're seeing a couple of the other dungeons. This is, for the example, the boss from the Darkness lab. We can see the Darkness ecological testing station here
With the nice
with the absolute lovely
personal globe.
You'll see some of the environmental shots. This is the radiation testing station. Well, internally, we call it the radiation testing station. It has a wonderful set of lore, has a proper name, and a full-on narrative that players get to explore. The electricity testing station, again, internal name, has a full-on backstory, and players get to explore and understand and add to their experience of Arrakis. Let's see what the other one is. And this one, I believe, is this the fire station? Yes, it might be. I think it is. Is it? I think it is. It's hard to tell unless we see the boss. Yes, there she is. The hero. The people's hero.
On fire.
On fire.
This girl is on fire.
It's
okay,
amazing.
oh god.
It's amazing.
Apologies.
And this one we just completed a moment ago with the team working through the internally named Poison Dungeon.
Poison eco station. All right, so we are waiting for Camille to be ready to show us what it actually looks like. How are you going to use those schematics that you're getting from those dungeons? So again, these dungeons are actually scalable, so you can either go in solo, you can go in with 2, 3, or 4 players. That will scale according to how many people you are playing with, or if you're solo. And you can also choose your difficulty level.
Exactly.
And depending on that, the loot scales as well, of course.
And it's worth mentioning that they're actually instanced as
Yes.
well.
That's
So
Yeah,
yeah.
very important to mention that. Yes, yeah, exactly. And of course, replayable many times as you like. So now we're at the base. So let's see what we can actually do and what these augments look like as well. Stats.
All right, so I assume that we have some weapons or some items we want to augment. And here you see the various schematics, like garment schematics, melee weapons, and the various ranged weapons and things like that. So
And
you can
how
see
many there are as well.
there's quite a few.
Lots of
I'm not sure
augments.
how many, but it's a bunch. And then Camille will. Okay, here we see the level of the augment here. It's level 1, so you still have some way to go, even if you get your weapon fully decked out.
Yes, that's something else to mention, that depending on which dungeon you do or like the difficulty, you also have the higher chance to get higher tier versions of that specific augment. So to mention, that's one for me. Anything that can help with recoil, that's for me.
Yeah, and it's worth mentioning that these augments they can increase your stats basically, but there's actually some random number generation going on as well. So even if you have the highest level of these, do you actually get the jackpot and get the full,
The max
the max.
possible
Yeah,
number.
exactly.
Yes. Yeah.
So here we have the augmentation station, and we see here the Halex pick, I believe it says.
Yes, Alex Pick.
And he has 2 augments that are relevant for this. He could have many more, but they wouldn't show up because they are the different augments are tailored towards different weapon types and armors and everything. But here we have 2 options. I have to sit a little bit closer
It's
to
the
read
blade
it.
flex
Blade
coating. Blade flex coating.
Blade flex
Flexi coating.
coating, yes. And he has another one. What's the
That's the blade optimizer.
And you can see the stats here below as well. And then he's okay. And here we have for the Pyrocket, we have the Pyrocket quick loader.
Increases ammo capacity.
Yeah, and we have the disruptor, quick loader, and the amplifier. So the better your unique is, the more of these you can actually put in. So you can have level 5 augments, and you can have up to 5 of them in the in let's say a weapon, and then you can hope for the jackpot for all of them, so you can have the maximum of everything. So yeah, so that's how that works, I guess. Yeah, now here he is ready to attach an augmentation to the weapon. It cannot be undone. So once you commit, that's how your weapon will be forever, basically. But of course, for some of them, you can add more than just one.
You also see that it reduces the durability slightly. We also saw that there was a little bit of a penalty to it, so that's also kind of a thing that some augments are kind of payoffs, right? They might have a really big stat increase, but they might have another slight different payoff.
But it is worth noticing that even though there is a durability hit, overall you can actually get twice the total of durability, but it might get reduced to, let's say, 170%. So even though it gets reduced, they overall have better durability than if you didn't augment them, actually.
So here we also see the range that is possible on these specific augments, right? You see like from 3 to 5%. So we can roll the lowest potentially, or that here actually from 2 to 8%, right?
Yep.
So you can be very lucky. You can use specialization actually to help you increase the chance to get to roll higher here.
Yep.
But yeah, there's a little bit of an RNG and a gambling aspect to it as well.
We're crafting. Let's see what we get.
In the advanced weapons fabricator. Let's see if he's lucky. Camille is generally very lucky with his rolls. I keep saying like I'm just gonna have him craft my augments. 4%.
4%.
All right.
That was on the lower end, wasn't it?
It was. It's in the middle. Like
Okay.
I think it was one that was 2 to 8. So it wasn't that lucky.
Yeah.
It wasn't super bad, but it was definitely not. Yeah. Well, we'll try again.
And of course, you don't commit until you put it actually in the weapon. So if you're not happy, you could.
You do craft kind of the augment separately, and then you slot the one in that you're really happy with.
Yeah.
Now it has 7%, so that's definitely better. I'm assuming he will use the 7% unless he rolls an 8% now. There we go.
All right.
Very lucky. I saw that. He went, yeah. All right, nice. Awesome.
All right.
That was nice. Almost planned. That was actually really great. 4, 7, and 8. There we go.
Yeah. So here you have some fragments. They are used to actually craft these augments.
Yeah, as we mentioned earlier, like in the dungeon, you will also find the additional material, the new material that you need to craft those things.
Yeah, yeah.
Of course, yeah. And then all these combined specialization, the new unique weapons from the dungeons, the augmentations go into, you can really customize and specialize your character how you want it to be, like also for combat here, but then also if you want to do something else, like for crafting or for, like I mentioned earlier, you can actually be the crafter that is known for being the best one at making augmentations for you, because they just have the best like skills and the best chances at rolling high augmentations. So you might not want to do those yourself because of course they're tradable, which makes sense in that sense. All right, let me just get over my list here to see if we covered, I think we did cover pretty much everything now. Yes, so, which means we of course now again have time to answer some questions. I am taking a look here if, perfect. Nicole behind the scenes is already ready with questions. All right, let's get right into it. Patrick Walker, N9W or N9W asks the noob, are dual blades being added to a skill tree? Is it part of the new Lance Rat specializations? Everyone gets it.
Everyone can get it. Do this. I apologize. I'm sorry, I forget the microphone.
Yeah.
Everyone gets it. It comes online a little bit late. You have to do the story, find out what happens, to who it happens, maybe help them, assist them, and be rewarded for your efforts. It is just another item in the game that everyone can get access to. Please enjoy.
All right. Sounds good. Like Chulan over on YouTube is asking, so with dual daggers, how does it work with equipment? We need 2 weapon slots
No.
for daggers?
It is considered a standalone item that you put on your hotbar. When you press it, you happen to have 2 daggers in your hands.
Sounds very convenient. Bams over on Twitch is asking, if you pay the spice tax for spec time reduction, is that a permanent reduction in the spec cooldown?
It is not a permanent reduction. It is a increasing and decreasing amount of spice that you must pay based on how often you use it within a time window. Said another way, if I respec 3 times in 5 minutes, my price is going to go up. But if I then proceed to not respec for 3 or 4 days, it's going to go back down again.
All right. I think that answers that quite nicely. Texasaurus on YouTube is asking, do existing testing stations also get this difficulty scaler or just the new ones?
Just the new ones. But we have plans about taking the older content and doing something interesting with it. Stay tuned.
Ooh, exciting. The Solid Milk on Twitch is asking, is there a maximum amount of people that can join your testing station group? And also, if it's higher than 4, can you have more 4 people in a party now? So can you have more than 4 people in a party now? No.
These are instances. Your party size is 4. You can do it as a 4Z, 3Z, 2Z, or as a 1Z.
Onesie, twosie. Okay, never heard that before. I like that. Otto Biardo on YouTube is asking, can you enter dungeons with less than 4 players?
Yes, absolutely.
As you just mentioned, you can go in solo, you can go with a friend, with 2 friends, or in a full group. And the dungeon will scale accordingly.
Yeah. And there is something that players need to be aware of. It's like you have to group up before you actually go there, because that defines who is allowed into the dungeon.
Well,
so
before you interact with the original door that we saw?
No, before you actually go into the
zone.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, yeah, before you go into the
prepare in
instance.
Hago Basin, fly there, and then you're good to go.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Sephiroth on YouTube is asking, what sort of rewards can be expected in the dungeons? Yeah, we can go with that again. Yeah, we can just go with that in detail again as well. So you have like the new materials, of course. You have the old things as well, like the servox and all that, like the things that you need for crafting.
Yeah, and you have unique schematics or schematics for uniques as well. Yeah, I mean the different. You have the augment fragments that we'll use and things like that. So yeah, the crafting components and yeah. So like I said initially, the Landsrod missions, just doing those will actually be to power your character. But going through the dungeons, that gives you the stuff that you need to power your gear, so to speak, to get the augments loop going. So they're part of the same. And what's interesting, I think, is that you're also doing, even if you don't necessarily care, you're doing it for your for your faction. So you might be very specific and go to the Landsrod and get that board. Get 5 in a row, for instance, but you might not even care, but you're still helping your faction by doing these things as you're helping yourself as well. Yeah. So I think that's neat.
That's cool. Yeah, that's good to mention that as well. Sir C Phoenix Fire is asking, are the augments going to stack? It's a good question.
Yes. So like I said, some uniques you can only put 1 augment on, but then you have others that you can put 2, 3, 4, and 5, and they do stack.
All right. So make sure you get a unique that has more than 1 slot, and then go nuts, so to speak. Nilos over on Twitch is asking, will boss HP scale based on number of players?
Yes.
All right.
And challenge level.
Yes. Texaurus on YouTube is asking, can we get the boss armor as well?
That's interesting. Let's talk about it.
TBD.
Exactly.
Stay tuned. Mystical Miavar over on Twitch is asking, if my group was to do tier 1 difficulty, can we go right back in at tier 2 and have the place be reset? Or do we still have to wait for reset timers?
No, there's no reset timer. But what you have to do, actually, you have to leave the dungeon. But you just have to leave, so you'll find yourself on the Overland map, and then you can go back immediately.
That makes sense for the dungeon to just repopulate with the difficulty level that you want to do. Yeah, that makes sense. Right, making sure I'm not hopping over any questions here that I've been shared. Kitty Hawks is asking, I'm seeing a lot of machines that are colored. Ha! Are we able to do that with the next update? Can we color all of our machines? We can actually answer that question in our next segment. So we'll get back to that. But the answer is yes. Okay. Yes. Aden Duner on YouTube is asking, can any of these augments be gathered via PvP content?
This is geared towards PvE.
Yeah. All right. This was the last question, actually. Perfect. All right. So this means some really good questions, by the way. Thank you for that. Keep them coming for our next segment as well. All right. So now we are going, before we're going into a quick break, just quickly what we're going to talk about. For those of you who are curious, we're going to talk about the story, continuation of the story, and also quite a lot of quality of life changes that are coming your way in Chapter 3. But now we're taking a quick break again.